Hey everybody, it is Kit here. Happy Sunday and welcome back to a crochet and reading video. We are going to be starting the fourth part of the 7 parts of Chicago today. But a little bit of news. Sorry, I sound animated and things. It's because I have the house to myself and I should have been recording and studying and maybe writing and being, productive. Instead, I literally have been listening and dancing to music for the last 3 hours and a little bit of TikTok. A lot of TikTok, actually. Anyway, we are now going to be productive. But I wanted to say sorry for not having a video for last week. I'm pretty sure I didn't have a video for last week. Everything's a blur. Let me triple check. But for those who may not know, I say this, um, feeling like at this point the people who are going to watch this absolutely know and are freaking sick of me saying this. Wait, I did have one? Wait, did I have one? No, I didn't. No. Oh, I might have had one. Did I? Heck if I know. Wait. No. Yes. No. No, I did have one. Okay, never mind. I guess y'all didn't miss out on a crochet video. Anyway, I had a sciatic problem in my back, so that threw me out of commission for most of my videos for that week. But apparently, I got a video for the arm, which is great. Oh, right, it was 10 minutes. Okay. Anyways, so I just wanted to basically apologize, but I don't have to apologize for this video today, so that's funny. Moving on. I actually have some great news that I was really excited to share, and then I didn't get to share because, yeah. So, oh wait, no, yeah, y'all, we did miss one for, okay, yeah, so I do get to apologize. I'm sorry for not having a video, that's right, because I did skip on Sunday. I was feeling better, but I decided Monday was just going to be the easiest way for me to get going, and I'm actually able to sit in my usual chair and stuff as of today, and today is Thursday. So, yeah. Anyway, my news. It is very big, and I am very happy about it. And it pertains to Chicago. So last summer, I sent in the copyright application for Chicago, which is obviously what we're reading. Maybe it's not so obvious or whatever, but um, it is a prequel for my book, and I finished it September of 2023, I think. And anyway, so I put in for the copyright last summer, and I never got word back. I did a little bit because I messed up on something on the application, but I was like scared to death about the title because, Chicago. And I I'm used, like, I have a copyright for Lost in Time. So I know the process is you get a letter in the mail. Well, I never got a letter in the mail. I never got any word at all. And so I've been thinking about it off and on. I'm like, well, I guess, I'm going to have to put in another notice. I guess maybe I can change it to the Chicago incident, but that just seems a little on the nose. Like, I really just wanted the title to be Chicago. That's it. Um, and for those who are looking at the book, who may pick it up eventually if I ever actually freaking publish anything, um, okay, so it's Chicago, which is kind of boring, but it removes any information other than, like, well, I'm assuming it's in Chicago, but what time, what year, anything like that. Like, you'd have to read the back or the blurb or something to get any sort of information. And I kind of did that intentionally. One, because you don't have any of the negative connotations to it, any positive connotations. Like, the reader has there's no expectation tied to the word, and yet in that there's all sorts of expectations, like all sorts of things that it could be. So if I say the Chicago incident, yeah, it says that there's an incident in Chicago, and incidents don't usually mean good things. So I was very specific when I wanted it to be that way, and also the in the story itself, like, in the first book, that is, which is set after Chicago. Chicago's the prequel. Chicago's a bad word. We don't say Chicago. Yeah, everybody thinks about Chicago. You think, it's ever since Chicago, and like people flinch. So it is a very loaded word for the book, for my story. Basically for like 4 freaking books. But yeah, so anyway, but I was thinking, yikes, maybe I didn't get it because of the title, right? Because Chicago, USA. Um, well, it occurred to me was it Tuesday? I think I looked it up and then my back went out. I think it did. I think I looked it up on Monday. But I realized that I was at least thinking that there was a way you could look up book copyrights. Well, I know my name, obviously. I know the title of my work. So I went in and I just typed in my name. And there's my 2 copyrights. 2. Yes, 2. Because I got it! Chicago is copyrighted. And it has been since last year. And apparently, that nugget of information, that wonderful letter that I love to frame on a damn wall, got lost in the US mail. Love that. Love that. But I did not waste $60, and this story that I am saying is mine and copyrighted, so yes. So yeah, I've been really pumped to share that. So yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I've been like riding that high for a good week. So hopefully, maybe that's not a big deal to people. It is to me. I wasn't really worried so much this time about it being not original enough, because Lost in Time, I felt like, oh shit, is that original enough? Chicago, I felt like it was. I was just really worried about the title, but they had no problems with the title. So it's a copyright, and it's mine! And I'm really happy. So, anyways. I haven't really been able to crochet super duper much. I did some today. So I got like half a row done. But yeah, so we're going to just keep on going. I have tea, and I've already wasted 8 minutes yapping. How hot is this tea? Not hot at all. Perfect. It's warm. So, let's get into the reading, shall we? So we are starting the early morning. We finished that night 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago. Maybe. And basically shit is hitting the fan. Green is kind of losing control. He and Winters got into a massive argument. Oh my god. Really, really bad. And he is absolutely losing control of himself. He is turning into, well, a beast. Winters is not necessarily 100% innocent either. It's a communication problem. uh, Winters is obviously not the most trustworthy individual. She is hiding things. Is she hiding things to be mean? Is she hiding things because it's not pertinent? But like, you don't know this person, so like everything's pertinent. It's a high stress situation, and they just, oh, it was really bad. Oh, it is so bad. So he is currently in hunting mode, like really bad hunting mode. He can't think, and all he's feeling is rage. It's really bad. So, we're gonna switch to Cooper's point of view now. And maybe he can fix this, because otherwise there might be a dead winter somewhere. Anyway. Yeah. The early morning. It's really bad, but I'm just kind of laughing and giggling, and I have a really big grin on my face. And I am about to, I'm causing arguably irreparable trauma and damage to, mental damage and also a little bit of physical damage to some of my favorite characters. Maybe that's why I'm giggling like a maniac. Okay, we're just. Sorry. I swear. Actually, I was gonna say I swear I'm just hyper. I'm not on a sugar high, but I might be on a sugar high. I had a mochi, a strawberry mochi, and an Oreo sandwich, ice cream sandwich. So, whoops. And I had some pasta earlier. So yeah. Anyway, the early morning. To say that Cooper was feeling stressed was an understatement. Green was far better with computers than he was. Clicking this, plugging in that, typing things. Coop hated it. But this time, the coyote had drawn the short straw from the pile. Okay, let's focus. Cooper cleared his throat, wincing as yet another snarl echoed from behind him into the speakerphone. So, we have 2 phones and a USB with a bunch of illegal information. The phones are connected to a private server via an app. We have the authenticator devices for the phones. He grabbed the computer mouse before it clattered to the ground as a roar filled the air, a young woman's voice desperately pleading shortly thereafter. So, Ben, why can't we access everything again? Also, just to, again, setting-wise, they're in a small apartment that is open. Cooper is at the little kitchen bar of the small kitchen, small room. I'm gonna sneeze. Mildly dying, ignore me, allergies suck. And in the just right there, again, open floor plan, very itty bitty living room is a beast hunting a potential, probably, fae. Yeah. Rapid typing sounds stuttered through the phone line. Cooper gripped the countertop tightly, leaning with just his hand supporting him. He felt the beast's rage behind him, and he knew Green was no longer in control. The being was paying him no mind, for now. All of its ire on one little fae, who just so happened to spark the fire of all fires. It was a mess, and one Cooper was going to have to dissolve quickly. I don't know, Cooper. Really? Panic bled from Ben's voice, causing Cooper's own panic levels to rise. Inside, Cooper's own beast whined and cowered. The coyote wanted to run and hide. It knew what the cursed half-form behind them meant. The cruelty it represented, the terror of a life long behind them. It wanted to get far away, hide in the strange concrete city somewhere under the dark moon. But Cooper held the panic at bay, steeling himself and locking his own beast away. It was a survival technique honed after several years of hardship, years he shared with Green. He was not leaving Green behind, lost control or not. Dom, everything's going to be alright, okay? Cooper's own tone was shaky but soothing. Soothing. Well, as soothing as he could get when the coffee table broke behind him. He didn't dare look. Green is just not in control. Fucking losing it. Unable to answer the phone at this time. Stressed. Green is stressed. Ben gulped, an audible sound of stress and panic. All the things Cooper wished he could take away. If he wasn't using every bit of his own pack magic to try and keep Green's crazy from spreading to the rest, he would have tried to ease Ben's worries from afar. He wasn't an alpha by any stretch, but Cooper knew a few tricks. Unfortunately, those tricks only went so far. You got this, Ben, Cooper reminded him, adopting a forcibly cheery tone as a lamp crashed against something. He gritted his teeth and smiled like nothing was amiss. Right. The typing only got faster, fingers striking like thunder against little plastic buttons, hammering home signals through fragile electric wires, going round and round through invisible radio waves in the air. Ben was working his magic, but if he didn't control his own strength, he might break something. I'm just trying, but they are panicking. Activating protocol. gilded gold? He swallowed. Then Lauren murmured something to him, her voice low, sensuous, and comforting. Cooper, there's other concerns going on in these communications as well. Obviously, the hotel has everyone panicked, but someone they call the Paladin has just upped his visit to within 3 hours. It's sending all sorts of alarm bells through the clan. Do we know who that is? Lauren's voice was strong and unwavering. Cooper was grateful she was here. Cooper quietly winced. We do not, but Winters might. I remember Hale mentioning something about a guest in a party, stuff that needed waltzing and old-fashioned ball gowns. Maybe they are one and the same? Paladin could be someone old-timey, or a code name. Another roar shook the apartment, and his inner coyote quailed in fear. It's Kieran. Just Kieran. Not the king, he told it, taking deep, quiet breaths and blowing them out until he himself stopped shaking. Lauren spoke again. Cooper, he's not responding to anything I am sending. What is happening? I feel like I need to clarify that. Let me do a little clarify. Okay. I don't know if I feel like I need to clarify this. This is why I need like beta readers so bad, but I have like no friends. um, to anything I am sending, meaning she's sending messages via the pack link. Yeah, so she's like trying to communicate with him. Him being green. The crazy is here. The sarcastic wit was right on the tip of Cooper's tongue, but now was not the time, no matter how true it was. Biting down on his bottom lip until it grew numb with pain, he quickly considered how to approach that question. How to explain that Kieran's bloodline was filled with who knows what bad blood. Messy politics, hatred that spanned back a good ways, and control issues? Then whatever the curse was, not that he and Green could ever figure that out, it was just a mess. His pitch was uncomfortably high, with coyote whining in his soul, skin itching to be shed, bones shaking to twist, head abuzz with all the noise, and every sensation of his surroundings and himself. Focus, Coop. Green needs you. It would be too easy to let himself go with Green, but Charlie Cooper didn't do easy. Easy would have been to stay in that accursed kingdom 200 years ago. Instead, he followed his best friend and jumped out of a 2-story window. Actually, it was about 3-story. Into the sea. No. 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 Yeah, it was about a 3-story window. It hadn't been an easy decision, and what followed was a hell of a difficult journey. But it was theirs, for better or worse. They had built a better life, not just for themselves, but for others as well. One far, far away from the king's watchful eyes and iron grip. One far away from the curse of that bloodline's anger. A curse that their pack didn't know about because it was Green's story to tell, but Cooper also knew that Green wouldn't mind if he told the Dominics in this situation. Soon, everyone was going to know regardless. Clearly, it was time. Damn it, Green. Why did you lose control? Frustrated, Cooper whined and shot that off toward the crazed beast tearing into the couch behind him, knowing not a single word would make a difference. He'd helped bury enough dead to know very little got through to the cursed beast. But Cooper would have to come up with something, both to tell Lauren and to get Winters out of there. He had a distinct feeling that the Paladin person was not going to be good news for them, and she would likely flip out, telling them they would need to hurry, finish their business, and get out of Chicago. Now, there was a sentiment that Coop could get behind. Oh, can't we all? He just needed to think. Oh, and figure out how to find Adam's kid. Damn you, Green. Fucking damn you, man. You need to calm down, Tiger. Sorry, my headset just turned off. I should clarify. Sorry. I don't mean you, Tiger Sarah. It's a lowercase tiger. this important tiger that's being yelled at. Sorry, I love this part, and that's a horrible thing to say. You need to calm down, Tiger. Winter's voice echoed throughout the apartment, desperate and filled with some sort of strange, haunting power. Authority rang in her voice, fair and true, but it would do nothing. The resulting crash was proof of that, followed by a feminine huff. Cooper? Lauren barely breathed, worried fear holding her voice in a tight grip. Ben's thundering fingers on the keyboard were getting louder in the background. I'm here, sorry, It's a lot right now. Cooper watched the screen, staring at the panicked chat windows all over the computer. It appeared... watch the computer screen? Yeah, maybe we should staring at the... okay, we're gonna go with this. Cooper watched the computer screen, staring at the panicked chat windows flickering all over. It appeared the vampires were feeling the time crunch just as bad as Cooper was. They were out of time, and so was he. So with that, he closed his eyes and listened to his instincts. Cooper tapped into the beast within, the smaller, rugged coyote with buckshot scars and a torn ear, intelligent yellow eyes, and a good nose. It was him, and he was it. They were one. He never had difficulties with control like Green did, but they weren't as dominant or strong like Green either, so it worked out. No matter what sort of trouble Cooper and the coyote got into, it always worked out in their favor. He only had to rely on his instincts, and as he felt the pack tether that connected him, Green, and everyone else over in Montana and elsewhere together, he realized that this was his family. Family protected family. He and Green had made this together. There was no pain here. No fear. Not like where they had both escaped from. It was going to be okay. All Cooper had to do was rip off the Band-Aid, let the wound out in the air for all the world to see, and go with the flow. Cooper could do that. He was good at that. Then Aggie and Doc would help fix Green up. When they got home with Adam's daughter, then Dad and little girl would be reunited, and life would move on. No more vampires, no more weird fae. Just home. Just a little longer, Cooper whispered to the howling coyote pining for Montana forests and streams. A few more messes to clean up, some more chaos to settle. Then we go home. Cooper, Green, and Ryu Adams. Home. Cooper's eyes snapped open, and without a word, he pushed the FaceTime button on his propped-up iPhone. It rang momentarily, then Lauren and Ben's anxious faces appeared on his screen. He made sure to block their view of the carnage behind him with his face and upper body, staring seriously into the camera. Okay. To make a long, confusing story shorter and more concise, Green's patriarchal bloodline has some problems. Problems he and I thought we had escaped, but apparently not. I do not need either of you to panic, and just remember, everything will be okay. Lauren's gray eyes narrowed with each word he said, considering everything very carefully as she brushed a piece of blonde hair behind her ear. Ben's face was very pale, hazel eyes wide underneath black, bushy eyebrows. Both nodded, Ben clutching his mate's hand tightly. Cooper studied both of their faces for a moment, rapped his knuckles against the tile countertop, and walked around the bar into the kitchen, granting them the full view of Green chasing Winters in all of his cursed, twisted glory. Ben breathed in sharply. Lauren didn't make a sound. Coop didn't say anything, looking around the small kitchen, waiting for inspiration to strike, giving them all the time they needed to come to terms with the horror on their screens. He didn't look. Couldn't, really. He knew what he would see. He'd seen enough. Now it was time to work. Time to get Green out of that rage, or at the very least distract him enough for both Cooper and Winters to make a quick getaway. Maybe Winters could get Ryu while Cooper distracted him. Cooper really didn't know. He didn't trust Winters, but she was going to be their best bet out of this situation if his instincts were on the money, and right now, instinct was all he had. Winters would pull through for them. It didn't mean he wasn't considering how to give her something in return, both as a thank you and a form of control. A payment. That way it was more even on both sides. Neither him nor Green wanted to be indebted to a fae any more than they could help it. Green was a tiger. Food would be a great motivator, but there was no raw meat in the fridge, just some jelly and butter. Obviously, there would be no blood packets around because that would be creepy if there were. What to do? What to do? Lauren finally spoke, voice shaky. Cooper? Cooper? What is that? Ben made a muffled noise when that snarled, and Winters snapped aggravated words at it. Snarling, growling. Is that all you can do? Why not just sit like a good kitty, huh? Is she suicidal? Distress spilled from Lauren's shaky demeanor, eyes wide as she watched this cursed hunt going on before her very eyes, clutching Ben's arm for reassurance. Ben gulped silently. The thunderous typing stopped for now. What would Aggie do in this situation? She always knows what to do. Cooper was tempted to call her, but it was... what time was it? Too early for a southern lecture, that's what. That is Green, and yes, probably. How can you be so calm? This is not... What are you doing? Lauren was trying not to panic, but the apartment was small. Green wasn't even remotely responding to anything she was sending him via their pack link, and there was a battered young woman going toe-to-toe with this monster. Claws swiped across Winter's unmarred cheek, easily slicing through fragile flesh. Lauren sucked in air, Winters winced, and shadows swarmed Green, pinning him to the floor. Oh, for... Then what am I supposed to do? He is not listening, and you fiends are just pissing him off! The woman slapped her hand onto her bleeding face, yelling at the shadows swarming the beast. No! Do not hurt him. I mean it. Absolute power echoed through the floorboards, the walls hitting Cooper's back like a cold rush of icy wind, discomfort settling on his skin. He felt more awake after that, which was nice, but it was like being doused in cold water. Oh. Water. I could do that. Winters, Cooper called out. In front of the woman in question, a painting fell from a screw on the wall. Oh, by the light. Yes, Cooper? Agitation seethed from a feral, frustrated smile, chilly eyes going from the fallen painting to his standing figure in the dark kitchen. I have my friends on the phone, Cooper said as he began rooting around the kitchen for Tupperware or large mixing bowls. They have some questions for you. I am also working on a plan to get you out of the hunter's sight. I am perfectly capable of surviving his sight. Thank you. Cooper kept talking over her, closing one cupboard and opening another, because he isn't going to snap out of this so easily. You are in real danger there, and you cannot keep running around him forever. Watch me, she muttered, staring at the struggling man under heaps of dark blobs. I should say man-beast, because that's more accurate. How are we feeling about this little bit right now? So when I give the signal, you need to get out of this apartment, all right? Oh, there's some mixing bowls. This will work. Maybe. Oh, sure. And go where? And leave him here? Like this? There are 7 families on this floor, Cooper. Me being his target right now is the best thing for everyone. A roar filled the apartment, followed by a frustrated sigh. The creature was straining to get up, making it to a sitting position. How are they doing that? Ben quietly spoke up, then a little louder when it was clear Winters hadn't heard. She was too busy watching Green with a troubled look, crimson streaks running down her cheek. Oh, Caught off guard, she glanced from the shadows to the phone, then back to the shadows, before finally settling on the phone. It is a very strange, complicated magic, but they can influence the world around them to a certain extent. Open doors, punch locks, take things. It is all based on the power of the person they are bound to and how strong their tether to source is. She fumbled with the explanation, perching on the edge of the upside-down ruined couch. She looked exhausted, despite the power leaking from her skin and the glow in her shiny eyes. Oh, Ben said it like it made complete sense. Lauren settled herself by running her fingers through his neatly trimmed raven hair, providing both of them some measure of comfort in the situation. It really didn't make sense. And the small apologetic smile Winters gave the phone people told them she knew it didn't. Let me let me just fix a few things here, because we all know I'm very bad at this. But she offered nothing else for that question. If you have a question, now might be a good time, because in less than a minute he will be getting up. Swipe, swipe, grab. Claws grappled for purchase with the shadows, which dove out of the way, finding another part of his body to grab and hold down. But they were still just shadows, and this was a very angry beast, cursed and filled with an unexplainable blind rage. He would win, and when he did, Winters would be his prize at long last. Tea break. Winters didn't seem too concerned with being ripped apart into a bloody, gooey, pulp-filled mess on the scratched-up wooden floor. Ben leaped back into action, once again typing away. Right. Gulping audibly, he glanced at his mate, a silent plea for help, as nerves once again brought a stutter. Lauren smiled at him and nodded, forcing aside her own fears for now. I really hate pronouns, don't I? This was nothing more than a hectic Skype meeting, or so she told herself. There is someone coming to visit the clan that has them in a panic. Lauren didn't miss how Winters suddenly paid complete attention to the phone from her perch, nor did she miss Green getting one knee onto the floor. The name they call him in the group chats is Paladin, and he upped his visit with the clan to within 3 hours, 5 minutes ago. Who is he? If they were given a 3-hour heads up, then half it. Urgency took over Winter's exhaustion as she stood up, not paying Green any mind as behind her he got to both knees. She came over to the phone and screamed, looking extremely concerned. He, if it is who I think it is, which it has to be, we need to get Green and Cooper out of Chicago now. A bone-chilling snarl reverberated through the apartment, making everyone freeze except for Winters, who kept talking faster and faster until her panicked words blended together. Tell me what to do, what needs to be done so we can find the missing child and get Cooper and Green out of here. Tell me and I will do it. Earnest pleas fell from her lips, eyes wide and imploring at the two people on the other side of the small screen. Behind her, much to Lauren and Ben's horror, Green was silently stalking her. The shadows no longer had the strength to hold him back, grappling with his ankles uselessly. Twisted legs moved through them like they were wispy bits of fog, tattered suit pants revealing torn flesh and tiger patches, bones gnarled and joints busted, glowing green eyes filled with unfathomable desire, a mouth full of tiger's fangs stretching a man's jaw impossibly wide, frail human lips splitting in multiple places. Rage, hunger, victory. All the while his prey had her back turned, leaning heavily on the countertop bar, pleading with the terrified couple on the other side of the screen. Let me add that last bit. The other side of the phone screen. Please, just tell me what to do. Did the phones not work? Is there another device? Winters, look out! A firm grip was suddenly on her right arm, one motion painfully twisting it behind her back, another hand on the back of her head, fingers and nails twisting and digging into her scalp painfully, both working together to rip the half-off-guard woman away from the counter onto the ground. Her arm twisted until a pop, and a painful cry was heard. Crap, Cooper! Lauren slammed her hands into her own counter, trying to get the coyote's attention, as she could only see the back of the beast's malformed head. Where was he? Oh no, oh no. Ben whispered, face white and distraught. Unconsciously, he rocked and rocked, mind going far away as Lauren yanked the phone away from his distant gaze. Baby, everything will be fine. Cooper! Shouting urgently into the phone, but all she could do is hear Winter's pained yelps and pleas to a creature that was Lauren's friend. A friend that had lost control and was about to go down a path of no return. Her alpha. Cooper! Winters was on the ground, ruined arm shoved under her back, hair torn from her scalp, straddled by this being that was once a reasonable, calm man. Staring up at this creature, feeling his rough skin squeezing into her neck, nails making pinprick holes dangerously near her arteries. His face got close, those teeth tickling the tip of her busted nose. The hotel felt like so long ago. Everything felt so long ago, like down a tunnel of darkness with just a blip of light teasing hope at the end of the journey. But there was no light in her life. It hadn't been for a long time. No hope. It was a fickle thing, a dangerous creature that should be treated with caution. Like now. Now she felt a flare of hope. A small, traitorous bit of hope that there was a small piece of green in there, fighting tooth and nail for control. She was not afraid of death, but she was afraid of what Green might do when he came to, with the realization of what he had done. He didn't deserve that. It wasn't his fault. But hope. A small, fiery flare burning in her chest, right by her crushed lungs as his weight pressed down on her bruised body. Green, listen to me. Those eyes. Such startling intelligence. Such power. The gaze of a tiger, but she hoped with everything she had that there was a small, little glimmer of a man behind them. You do not want to do this. It will tear you apart if you do. You are a good man. Do not let it win. There was nothing but their combined breaths, his hot, loud, and sticky, her short, struggling pants. His fingers around her throat with the barest of squeezes. Saliva dripped from that horrendous maw, a large glob sliding down her face to mix with her ruined clothing and matted strands. Her pale face, exhausted eye bags for days under glowing blue eyes. Wide, imploring eyes. Shadows swirled around them, waiting, begging, waiting for her to make the call. She would not. She had hoped that Green was in there. She trusted him to be in there. Trusted in his control far more than her own. He was a better person than she was. She would not. The maw opened and a long, painfully scratchy tongue slid up her freshly bloody cheek, a tiger's moan at the taste of her crimson life force. Fingers and nails dug into her neck at alarming speed, and that small, fiery flare of hope was diminished. She knew better than to hope. Had been told over and over again that it was useless. That she was a fool. They were right. Icy cold water hit the back of the creature's head first, splashing around and down onto Winter's face, going right up her broken nose and into her gasping mouth. The ear-shattering roar suddenly brought sound back to everything, and when the beast reared on the coyote wielding 2 more full bowls of cold water, he relinquished Winter's neck, giving her much-needed air. Coughing and spluttering, she managed to halfway sit up, twisting and coughing onto the floor. Yeah. Cooper rolled his eyes at the creature his friend had become. The beast lunged, but Cooper had another bowl of water with ice cubes ready. This one went directly onto the creature's face, invading its mouth, nostrils, eyes, everything. Cooper waited as it froze, coughing and shaking its head. There's more where that came from, buddy, but we don't have time for the shenanigans, man. I need Green back. He locked eyes with the beast, and when it looked back at him and tried again, another full bowl of water joined the last. Now all Cooper had was 3 empty mixing bowls and sheer dumb luck. Winters, this is the signal, Cooper pointed out grimly, taking 1 step back as the beast shakily stood, snarling and growling, dripping water and glaring hatred. But it left Winters free to stand, if she was able to. Cooper wanted her up and out, possibly to take Lauren and Ben with her. That way they had some sort of communication. He clenched the plastic mixing bowls in his hands, ready to throw them at a moment's notice and run. The beast was livid, furious, over and over and over its hunt had been interrupted, prey gone or snatched away. And now this. Anger rolled off mismatched skin, flaring through those glowing green eyes. It did not recognize its best friend standing in front of it. Couldn't understand Lauren's panicked voice as she urgently talked to it. Felt nothing for Ben's distant voice being so small, whispering, "It's going okay. It's going okay," over and over. Once, these were its friends, and now there was nothing but rage. "Winters, leave now," Cooper said, with more emphasis on now. "Take the phone with you." He could buy her enough time for that. One step back, one step closer. Cooper angled himself to not be in the kitchen, inching his way around the torn-apart living area, keeping an even pace with the beast that now stalked him. Show no fear. The coyote hid under a rock, whimpering in his head. The man stared resolutely at the creature, shoulders squared. "Winters, any time now." The woman was done coughing and heaving into the floor, now sitting up properly and staring at the air in front of her acutely, as if examining something. Copper. Cooper. Yeah. Cooper. Oh, son of a biscuit. Yeah, I deleted the sentence. It's okay. That's what Control Z is for. Cooper felt a spark of irritation. This was certainly no time for games or whatever magic she was observing. This was the time for her to leave, and that window was going to shut fast. "I am not leaving you, Coyote, for better or worse." Her voice cracked, croaking like a frog, as she wheezed breaths in and out of parted lips. It hurts to breathe, it hurts to move, it hurts to think. But Winters was there, present, and still capable of doing something. Maybe. Cooper gritted his teeth, narrowly avoiding backing himself into a corner. "Winters, I am not playing." The lunge Cooper had been expecting finally came, bloody claws reaching for his neck, only to grab thin air and smash an entire fist through drywall instead. The bowls shot through the air, smacking Green in the back of the head as the resounding snarl sent trickles of fear down Coop's spine. He had barely managed to duck and weave under Green's arm, heart thudding like a running rabbit in his chest. Barely looking around, he snatched a broken piece of wood in his hands, ready to use it like a bat if necessary, as the beast turned around, vibrating and gunning for blood. "Winters, go!" Cooper pleaded, backing up rapidly as the beast snarled, spittle flying everywhere. Cooper was fast, as the beast was slow. A more hopeful, whimsical man would have hoped that his friend was somewhere in there, fighting. Cooper was not a whimsical man. But the beast was slowing down, struggling, as if by an invisible force. It roared, feet stuttering to a halt. Claws tore at the ruined scraps of clothing hanging off of its tormented body, nails digging into the reddened flesh. Cooper raised the piece of wood, swallowing as sweat dripped from his mussed hair, ready for anything. The beast's tormented eyes flashed like lightning, and it blinked, squeezing its eyes and crying. It took another step, then opened those eyes once more. Pure pain shining through and piercing Cooper's soul before those glowing orbs swept past him into something behind Cooper. Instead of turning his head, Cooper sidestepped until he could see the full room, keeping equal distance between him and the beast as it moaned in agony. The beast had eyes, only for the woman still on the floor. She strained to keep sitting up, half of her face screwed up with that eye closed, panting with the effort it took. Her good hand was holding on to something with a tight grip in the air, like she was holding onto a rope between her and the beast. Her chest heaved with every word she spoke, her voice strangled and abused, yet her tone held a mysterious power different from before, and it showed in those brilliant blue eyes. "Enough. This ends now, beast. Let him go. The rage you feel today will get you nowhere. This hunt will not grant you what you wish. Let him go. Remember who you are." The beast fought. Her skin flashed white as it strained against whatever magical hold she had. I should say winter skin. I really hate pronouns, apparently. It tried taking one step towards her, mouth open, hungry and seeking, saliva dripping out, but Winter's grip tightened and its steps faltered until the beast fell to its knees, crawling. Claws dug into the floor, straining to pull itself closer, as if the mountainous weight of fate itself was crushing it. Cooper, help him remember. Do it now. Winters cried out, falling back onto her bad side with a groan, but she never let go of that invisible tether, the only thing that seemed to falter the beast. Remember, Green. Remember, she whispered, wheezing over and over as fresh blood trickled from her ears. Licking his lips at the unbelievable sight in front of him, Cooper slowly set the makeshift bat down, looking at the beast. Remembering his friend buried deep inside, clawing to be free. And now that friend felt so far away, yet their strange associate wanted him to try to reach him, to help Green remember an entire lifetime together. Multiple of them, in fact. Playing together as toddlers, sneaking away as children to go hunt slugs and spy on the pretty girls. Cooper climbing into Kieran's chambers in a high tower at night so they could talk in secret. Kieran showing him how to throw a punch so Cooper could protect himself. The single look they shared the eve of Kieran's arranged wedding fiasco, followed by both of them leaping out of a window to run away and never return. They were just 17 years old. Swimming for days across the ocean and being picked up and taken to a war they didn't understand. That was where they had met Adam, who had immediately known what they were. Adam. It was thanks to him that they had survived. He taught them war, life among the humans, human currency, human languages, the other supernatural species. Everything they knew. It was thanks to Adam. It was thanks to him that they survived that war, then the next, and the next. Eventually going to America and finding others like them. Shifters. Befriending some, making enemies of others. It wasn't just them anymore. They had friends. Packmates. Family. Blood doesn't make family. Wasn't that what Doc and Aggie had shown them all those years ago? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. A single tear broke the dam, trailing down Cooper's cheek as he stared at his struggling friend on the floor, the coyote frozen in place, swept away in over 100 years of memories. Help him remember. Cooper wanted to believe that he could. But he knew what that curse would do. What that curse could do. Yet, he still tried. Tentatively, with the fear of that small forgotten child buried deep within him, Cooper reached out. Reached with that native magic that had been his since he was born. Reaching for that familiar link, for that familiar, comforting weight that had been a mainstay in his mind since they jumped out that window. For that one link and the one friend who had saved him over and over again. Help him remember. The link was there, rough around the edges and surrounded by a malice that made him shiver. But it was there. Insides quivering, Cooper pushed forward, reaching for that link. It felt like a rough rope that smelled of lush jungles and familiar Montana pine, of Aggie's pecan pie, the quiet sounds of the lake at home. That felt like home. Green? He called out anxiously, feeling like his voice was echoing silently on his own, in his own lonely mind. Green? Are you there? You need to come out now, man. Take back control. You can do it. I believe in you. It's okay. I'm here. I'm not leaving you. Hope flared even as he felt that malignant energy surrounding him, but it couldn't hurt him. Not here. Not now. Something was blocking it, and it felt like a cool breeze on a chilly autumn day. Smelled like books and a cozy fire. Whatever it was anchoring, and it steadied his fears. He existed, what? Oh, he waited for what felt like ages, so focused on that link that nothing else in the waking world existed. Waiting. Hoping. Praying to whatever gods existed. Charlie? Relief was a sweeping cold dunk to his nerves. Cooper's nerves. Starting at the top of his head and sinking all the way to the balls of his feet. Kieran, thank fuck. Hang on, man. I'm here. Fight it. I'm trying. Green's voice sounded far away, strangled in pain and misery. Faintly, he felt a pulsing, like a pummeling of fists on his psyche, and instinctively knew that it was Green, stubbornly giving the beast all he was worth, but it wasn't enough alone. But Green wasn't alone anymore. He never had been. Winters had somehow given Cooper a chance to get to Green, and he wasn't about to waste it. Help him remember. Me and my stupid pronoun hatred, apparently. Green, remember. Cooper reached, searching for that pulsing. That coyote howled, suddenly racing across that arid landscape, leaping up and over plateaus under a bright moon. The wind was rushing him forward, bringing Green's scent clear as day. Cooper's nose could track anything. It was easy. He howled again, running faster and faster, the breeze petting his coat, his paws kicked up dust into clear night skies. Remember, Green. Remember. The coyote ran until it found its mark, and warmth spread through the link, burning away the negative malice. It seethed and seared, rearing back against that warmth, but the coyote pushed onward, protected by that steady anchor. A different type of magic. One that was mysterious, but the creature knew that it was kind-hearted, and it was not afraid. That anchor was going to get it to its friend, the tiger. A large beast that it hunted with, it played with. They were pack, and the coyote would not leave its pack. So it kept going and going and going, until it found the tiger, bleeding and in pain, lying in its jungle, a jungle surrounded by that miserable malice. The coyote laid down, licking its friend, trusting in the anchor to spread the warmth. Burn away the pain. Remember, Green. Remember. The coyote laid with the tiger until the tiger did indeed remember. Then, and only then, did they stand and walk away together, just like they always had. When the warmth faded and the real world slowly brightened into focus with the last residual remnants of magic disappearing into the darkest corners of his mind, Cooper was relieved to see Green sprawled onto his stomach. Gone was the cursed beast with twisted limbs and tiger tufts. Instead, there was just a beaten man, one that barely gave him a look before surging to his feet and going into the bedroom without a word. Cooper understood. Green would need some time after losing control like that. Feeling a bone-deep fatigue settling in, Cooper sighed while glancing around the apartment. Winters was lying on her back, slight movements in her body showing that she was indeed breathing, even if he could barely pick up the sound of her heartbeat. Her shadows were not present at the moment, but they had to be around somewhere. His phone was still propped up against the computer screen, large pinched face still on FaceTime. She was pacing in her kitchen, mouth stretched and drawn as she nibbled on a manicured nail, pupils constricted but alert. He waved once and gave a thumbs up. It was all the effort he could give at that moment. Laura nodded once, only then sitting down and placing her face into her shaking hands. Quiet murmurs of her mate were barely heard, and Ben came to embrace her, both drawing comfort from the other. Cooper took deep, steadying breaths, feeling like he had run a marathon. Every muscle ached, and it hurt to just take a few steps over to Winter's prone body. Falling to his knees, his head lolled back, eyes closed in the darkness. It was tempting to lay down beside her and take a dirt nap, and to hell with the rest. But they weren't done, not by a long shot. Still, Cooper stole a moment of blissful, tinnitus-ringing silence, one that was only broken by Ben's unintelligible murmuring and a shower running in the bathroom. "Are you all right?" Winters mumbled, sounding like she was on death's row at his knees. The snort that ratcheted out of him startled his eyes open, head dipping downward to look at her. "I'm not the one looking like roadkill here." He carefully examined her, looking for somewhere to give a friendly nudge. It felt appropriate, somehow, after all of what they had just experienced. Winter's face was just a river of fresh and dried blood, blonde hair ruined by the red stains. Those expressive blue eyes were covered by dark purple eyelids with their own zip codes, and he knew there was more damage covered by the dark stained jeans and her jacket. He decided to tap her unbroken hand, a friendly little nudge that was meant to elicit a smile or comfort. God knew he could use some right now. How are you holding up? Winter's lips twitched into what might have been a smile. Like roadkill. Cooper shared the smile, chuckling once before stretching his legs out to sit on the floor beside her. This did not go as planned. Glancing once at the ruined apartment around them, he felt mildly embarrassed. He felt bad for the apartment owner when they saw the damage in the future. Winters hummed in response. Yes, I understand that feeling. They shared a comfortable silence for a moment. Is he all right? Concern hung in the air, clinging to her tired words. Cooper thought of the tiger and the coyote. The curse of a bloodline. The beaten man sprawled on the floor. He will be. He nudged her again. How did you do that? Cooper wasn't sure how to explain the anchor or the warmth. He wasn't even sure if he could. Cooper just knew that somehow it had been her. She would understand. Darkness and silence wrapped their consoling brace around the resting duo, giving the illusion of infinite time. That it was just them having a normal conversation. That they hadn't just been in a life or death situation for the better part of the last hour. That there wasn't a child's life that depended on them, hidden from their ever-searching eyes. Eventually, Winter sighed and shivered. You likely will not believe this, but I do not know. I have never done anything like that. Never seen anything like him. I just tried something. A quiet ha left her slack lips. I cannot believe it worked. Her incredulity had him peering down at her thoughtfully, even as he heard the questioning dubiety at the tail end of her statement. Cooper wasn't sure what to make of any of it, or her or Green. He was just a coyote shifter, a good old country boy. Coop wasn't built for this weird magic shit. At this point, magic or not, cast by a weird woman or not, it had worked, and for that, he was grateful. Well, stretching gave the word a whiny edge, pent-up stress escaping his gasping muscles. Whatever you did, thank you. He slowly stood up. Do not mention it. She waved her good hand, flopping it around like a half-hearted dead fish. No, I'm serious, Winters. Thank you. Her eyes opened once to see a sincere gratitude beaming down at her, and she blinked a few times, giving him a small smile in return. The small smile faded with his following question. Is there anything we can do for you? I mean, he shrugged, gesturing around. You've done a lot for us, and you've asked for nothing in return other than we just stop panicking the bloodsuckers. He trailed off as she grimaced. Well, I believe it is safe to say that you did stop panicking them, Winter said carefully. She made no move to get up, even as he shifted to a crouch beside her. As for you doing anything for me, no, I do not believe there is. She said it as if she was commenting on the weather, followed by a large, whimpering yawn. But if you are insistent on doing something, then let us just get you out of Chicago as soon as possible. That will be payment enough. Cooper's hands found her shoulders as she tried to sit up, gently pushing her back down. That doesn't sit well with me, and I know it won't sit well with Green either. Cooper locked gazes with her, not wanting to give her a chance to look away. After everything, surely you can understand how we wouldn't want to be indebted to you? Plenty of things were left unspoken. Their tenuous partnership, the hotel, the arguments, whether she was fae or a witch, but most likely a fae. Green almost killed her. So much had happened in just over 24 hours. It felt like a lifetime, yet they barely knew her, even after all of that. Winter's tongue swiped over bloodied lips, pinkish teeth biting down on the bottom one. On the bottom lip, let's just say that. Her mouth set into a grim line as she thought about it, examining Cooper's eyes, swallowing once. I can understand that. Her gaze was heavy, filled with so much emotion it startled him. Before the hotel, the alleyway, before everything got so freaking messed up, her eyes were dead, filled with a horror and a past that no one her age should have. No light of life behind those blue eyes, and now that horror, the pain, it was still there, but in full force. As if someone had turned on a switch, wiped down the dusty windshield, and brought that pain into full clarity. Cooper became acutely aware that she must be hanging onto her own sanity by a single thread, precariously dangling over a dark abyss. What has changed? The quiet was broken by an awkward throat clearing, then Ben's timid voice stuttering and shaking as he spoke up. I actually had an idea for that, if I may. Cooper pushed to his feet, holding his hand out when Winters tried to get to her feet. Stay put. Tone commanding, yet his expression was soft, he was quick to grab the phone and hurry back to her side. Ben waited patiently, chewing on the inside of his cheek until Cooper was cross-legged on the floor. Winters fixed her tired eyes on the phone as he held it up for both of them to see. All right, Ben, what was your idea? Ben smiled nervously, clearing his throat once more. Hello. He nodded as a greeting for the young woman on the floor. Well, my idea was information. You gathered a USB drive with information on the clan's illegal dealings, particularly on the child trafficking side and drug pushing. I take it this was for your boss? Cooper's eyes flickered between Ben's expectant expression and Winter's confused face. I got that for you, actually. At least that was my intention? Tired blue eyes drifted down and to the right, glazing over for a moment. Or apparently you are correct. A sigh filled with stress, tension, and frustration simmered from Winter's lips. I was not told at the time that was the intention. She closed her eyes, nostrils flaring, clearly focused on calm breathing. Ben tensed, plastering a weak smile on his face. Cooper gave him a reassuring grin, nodding once as Cooper braced one hand behind himself to lean on. Let me fix that. Well, going through that USB gave me the idea that we can get you more information. Her eyes unstuck, opening slightly to focus on Ben. Despite the devices you brought back in the new phone, in order to find Ryu Adams' location, we will have to hack into the clan's private data farm. However, given the new urgency with this Paladin character, it may be best if Green and Cooper are ready to head out as soon as that location is found. Winter's brow furrowed as he stalled, struggling with nerves and words. I really apparently hate pronouns. I know we're going over time, by the way, but we're going to be getting soon to where it's like switching to Green, which is a whole different thing. So, yeah. So, you need to hack into this data farm. And that might be where I come in. I can take you there? Winters clearly didn't understand how this hacking thing worked, but Ben nodded eagerly, phone toppling over with emotion. He squeaked, rushing to set the phone right. Sorry. pale, panicking, stuttering. Stay, Cooper had never wanted to see Ben in again. Hey, it's okay, man. No worries. You are good, Cooper said firmly, reaching out through the pack link, trying with minimal success to send comfort. Lauren came behind the shaking man, rubbing his head softly and placing a steamy mug of tea beside him. Winter said nothing, watching the exchange with a guarded expression, but Cooper sensed almost a longing? A protectiveness? Confusion spread through him like muddled water in a clear creek, but he focused on Ben, who was being calmed by his mate. Winters waited until Ben was more calm to respond. Okay. Just tell me what to do and I will do it. It was a simple sentence for a not-so-simple task, but Winters seemed nonplussed. You sure about this, Winters? Cooper asked once, giving her the option. Or, I guess giving her the option to back out is probably the better... It was the least he could do, after all, seeing the damage Winters had already sustained. Yes. The answer was immediate and firm. As for the information exchange, as long as you can gather the child's location first, and Green and Cooper can get going, I will take whatever information you can gather on the illicit dealings of the clan. She was adamant about getting them the location first, and she made it clear with her tone she wouldn't take no for an answer. Cooper gave Ben a nod, meeting Lauren's questioning gaze with a shrug. Cooper didn't get Winters. Didn't get why Winters was helping them, or what had happened in the last few hours. Why Winters was so adamant about them getting Ryu and getting out of Chicago as soon as possible. Not that Cooper was complaining. Ben nodded, smiling. I can do that, absolutely. Do you have a cloud account by chance? Or an encrypted server to send the information to? Winter's wide eyes gave them all they needed to know about her knowledge of cloud accounts and encrypted servers. Ben swallowed, smiling. Or we can get an SSD, preferably a few 5-terabyte hard drives. I don't suppose Chicago has any 24/7 electronics stores, do they? Panic slowly etched onto Winter's face, a glaze overtaking her eyes as Cooper shrugged. I have no clue. What does the Google machine say? Thunderous typing flooded the phone call. Lauren sighed and shook her head bemusedly at her mate. It doesn't look like it, no. Winters spoke up. I can gather these SSD items. She sounded like she tasted a lemon. If you can tell me what they look like, or where to get them. Confusion gave way to apprehension. Tight shoulders, a chewed-on lip, flared nostrils, and a flattened mouth. Still, Winters was willing to do it, and thankfully, Cooper had an idea for that. Well, it's a good thing we got 2 phones. You'll take one, Ben will guide you, and after that, you will head to the Dyna farm, get that started, while Green and I pack up here and wait for your signal. Sound good? Cooper barely waited for her nod before he was up and striding to the bedroom. Is this a good spot to stop? Oh, okay, 2 more paragraphs. The wooden door was unlocked, the shower still running from the adjacent bathroom. Light flooded from the crack in the door. It took Cooper a little time to find Green's phone. Thankfully, it was still working after all that had occurred. Next, he stopped by the cracked door. His hand hovered over the doorknob, uncertainty twisting knots in his lower abdomen. Eventually, Cooper decided to knock, speaking up over the running water on the other side. Hey, Ben and I figured out our next move. Winters is game, and Ben had a great idea on how to repay her for all of her assistance, so we're working on all of that now. She's about to leave to get her part started, and that will give us time to get our stuff together, clean up, and move out. You've got about 20 minutes. I'm borrowing your phone. Cooper didn't go inside and didn't wait for Green to reply. He didn't ask the stupid question of, are you good? Because they both knew he wasn't. Green wasn't, that is. Yep. And that is a good spot to stop for today. Let me do this here. There we go. Because it changes to Green's point of view. So we've got about another 30 or so pages until the next part. So yeah, from here on out, y'all can probably tell it's just gonna be like climactic, like boom, 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 for the most part. Man, that was a lot. um, God, the author in me does not want people mad at Wonders. I also don't want people mad at Green because, but at the same time, like I can't control that. Well, I could if I were to spill all the beans now, but it doesn't have a place here. Um, yeah, yeah. I love them. I feel kind of bad for what I did. This is the incident, one of the big things that is going to haunt both Kieran, as in Green, and Winters for a long time, particularly in the first book, is this hunting event. It is going to affect every single encounter they have for like the first 3/4 of the book. It is going to affect Kieran to a point that like it's just going to be affecting him for a very long time. And yeah, it was a very big deal for both of them, and trauma. Yeah. I guess I'm gonna ask, and y'all don't have to let me know, but like, it is. I guess what is y'all's opinions on this part? I don't really. I've never gotten feedback on this. I think I've shared like bits and pieces of it once upon a time with a friend, and like they were like, "Oh, this is tense" or something, but like I never really got feedback. I don't really get feedback a ton on my reading. I also really don't share, so that doesn't help. Um, I almost want to ask like specific questions, but I think I'm just gonna leave it open ended. Um, Good lord. Ugh. Next time, I think I will continue to do reading. There's a little bit of explanation on Green's side of things. But yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it open-ended. Yeah, I really want to ask pointed questions, but I'm not going to. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to, obviously. Nobody has to be here listening to this or watching this. But yeah, like if y'all want to give me what y'all think about this. In other news, I think next year, or I don't know, maybe in a few months, I'm thinking I might want to finally publish something. Um, if I can get A Witch's Debt done and edited and fixed up, maybe by the end of the year or next year, whatever that would require me to sit and write. Um, I think maybe I'll look into self-publishing. I don't really know how that goes. I know I need money for that, and I obviously don't have any money right now, so, need a job and all of that. I have wanted to be a published author for a while, but I'm too afraid to do it, and I'm too afraid of putting myself out there. But if I do it as a self-publish and it flops, it's not like it's a big deal because, like, I'm still fulfilling a dream of mine, you know? And I guess there's not really a lot of like rejection or as much rejection as there would be in like traditional publishing, and who's to say this is even any good anyway, right? But yeah, so there's that. The reason why I want to get the first book done is because Chicago, when it comes to reading, I do not want Chicago to have to be a required reading. You know, like, oh, okay, well, you really need to read the first book before you read the second book. You really need to read the prequel before you read the first book. That is not my intention with Chicago. It's an optional entry, but if I publish that first and there's not, then like it takes away the optional bit, right? So yeah, that's why I want to get the first one done, and then maybe I'll publish them both at the same time. It makes sense in my head, at least. I don't know. Not that any book is really required reading, I guess, but you know. Bearing my soul over here. Okay, I'm gonna go now. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I better have made some dang good progress in an hour and 15 minutes of jibber jabbering and taking up y'all's time. So, thank y'all so very much for listening. I've been looking forward to reading this part, and unfortunately, I had to skip a week, which sucks, but I am back. I was thinking maybe we might be able to finish it next time. I don't know. We got a lot further than I was expecting this time. So we might be able to finish this part next time. And then, so we have like 36 pages. And then we might take a break and play a game for the next one. And yeah, but I am planning on reading the entire thing, so there is that. But yeah, so have a great Sunday, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all so very much for listening, and I will see whoever I see next time. Bye!